story is trending right now on Twitter, and so a lot of people had questions about what's going on, so let me explain it. A few hours ago, Biden, via the New York Times, announced that he's allowing Ukraine to use US-provided attack missiles to strike inside of Russia. This is something that Ukraine has been asking for almost a year now, and now finally they're able to do it. That being said, France and the UK both said from the beginning that as soon as the United States greenlights ATACMS, they will allow the Storm Shadow from the UK and the Scalp from France to be used inside of Russia. And well, the moment that happened, France and the UK says, yes, you can go ahead and use it. Now putting these things in the targets of Ukraine. These are hundreds of Russian military installations, whether they be training bases, whether naval bases, they could also be airports. All these things are military related, are now open. And you can see the red here is territory that Russia took. The yellow is the original area in which Ukraine was able to hit some stuff. But now, out to this way, this right here is the ATACMS. Storm Shadows can actually go even further, also hitting Moscow. And so people are wary that if Ukraine hits something, that Russia will then respond a certain way, either towards the United States, the UK, or France, since they're saying to Ukraine it's
Joe Biden to make this decision now after months of deliberating over whether or not he was going to allow the Ukrainians to use these long-range army tactical missile systems. They are ballistic missiles launched from ground-based systems against targets inside Russia, something that the Americans seem to have been hesitant to allow, concerned that it might then prompt an escalatory response by Russia. But according to reports in the New York Times, the sudden decision by the North Koreans to join Russian forces on the battlefield at the moment inside Russia, fighting against Ukrainian troops that have seized parts of the Kursk region, that is the trigger for this decision by the United States. And now all eyes surely are going to be on other allies of Ukraine, the UK, for example, which has for a long time also been asked by the Ukrainians to allow its forces to use their Storm Shadow cruise missiles against targets inside Russia. The British have been more forward-leaning, more seemingly willing to allow the Ukrainians to use these weapons, but had been waiting for a decision by the United States. Now that seems to have come. All eyes, of course, are going to be on what Keir Starmer, who's going to be here as well in Rio, will say, and whether he will confirm that British missiles can also be used by the Ukrainians. For Joe Biden to make this decision now, after months of deliberating over whether or not he was going to allow the Ukraine.
Shalom, shalom. Call halal yamla, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, BAHASHAM, Kakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, a great millstone and teacher as well. Peace and salutations be to the elect. Brother Tazwan coming at you from the Prophets in Babylon camp here in Tampa, Florida. Today we're going into President Biden just announced gave Ukraine permission to use American-made missiles. Okay. Americanized weapons, in which North Korea responded to sending ground troops into Russia to help them defend against the attack. And Putin putting out a grievous warning saying this is going to be, if you do this, it's going to be the start of World War III pretty much. Which I have here. Now, this is in the End Times headlines. End Time headlines, it says, Putin responds with ominous warning. It says, nearly 24 hours after Joe Biden and Washington announced that they had given the authorization for Ukraine to use U.S.-made longer-range weapons against Russia. The first deputy chairman of the Russian Upper House's International Affairs Committee gave an ominous warning that this is a very big step toward the beginning of the Third World War. Okay, so it says will transpire over the next few weeks. Will this fizzle out or spiral into a greater regional conflict? All right, so Putin already warned, like, you allow these things to happen, we're going to put out attacks. We're going to attack. They're going to take another step towards that World War III, and it's going to escalate. Basically, they said that Putin was withholding from doing this in fears of, not Putin's like it, Biden was withholding from doing this in fears that Putin would go out of, he would do something very drastic, do something very tragic in response. He would take a very big step in response to that. But now that he sees that he's getting out of office, I guess, so they say, he's going to try to do all he can to make a bigger mess than what he made before. And really, it's not even Biden doing these things or calling these shots. It's those that control Biden. Biden is just a puppet. He's just a face. Okay? It's the powers that Biden served when he had his mind with him that's still working and operating and using his face as a cover-up. That man's basically got one foot in the grave. He can't remember which word to say next on the screen. He can't remember which way the bathroom is or which step to take off the stage. And you think that he's making all these plans? You probably don't even realize that we're in war right now. So that just goes to show you that this thing was orchestrated by powers that be, that are greater than Biden. Okay, it's bigger than Biden now, man. In the book of because you just have Putin and Russia, you have Putin and Trump, they're just talking about they can't wait for their relationship to build and look towards a peaceful future. And right after that, you got Biden making hits on Russia. All right. This is NIV, Daniel chapter 11, verse 27. The two kings, with their hearts bent on evil, will sit at the same table and lie to each other, but to no avail, because an end will still come at the appointed time. And I'm not saying that these are those two kings, but that's a good example. These men may sit at a table and say certain things towards their future and towards a peaceful future, whatever, but it's going to be to no avail. Meaning it's going to be for nothing, because the end is still going to come at the appointed time. Ain't nothing they can do to change that. No matter how they try to thwart World War III or the end of this society or the end of this age, this eon, that end's still coming at its appointed time. Now you got all this war springing up and rumors of wars getting louder and louder until eventually you see something explode in your country, in your city, in your state, man, right in front of you. Then you realize it's not a rumor anymore. It's really happening. The book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So all these things must happen. They got to come to pass. But the end isn't yet, man. The end isn't come yet. Alright, so keep in mind that you're gonna continue to hear these things. Don't trouble yourselves, man. Okay? Don't trouble yourselves. Don't get up and start making hasty decisions. Okay? Because there is still more to come. Alright? People speak lightly on World War III. They don't understand the kind of power that these nations have now. These countries, these countries are a lot more powerful than they were before, man. It says, Revelation chapter 11 and verse 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. So after the second World War, guess what? The third World War is going to come quickly. The second World War was, you still got people alive that were in it. Here we are already talking about the third one. And this is going to take you unawares, Before you know it, your house is getting kicked down. Your door's getting kicked into. Okay? Thieves and robbers coming in. Troops coming in. Okay? You're getting ready to have a lot of visitors, but your main visitor is going to be who? The Lord. YAHAWASHI. Alright? Okay, we're in transit. Gotta keep rolling this window down and up. This is the book of Second Ezra chapter 16 and verse 40. O my people, hear my word, make ye ready to thy battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. Alright, so in those evils be as what? Be as pilgrims upon the earth. Why? Because it's about to get ready. Things are about to get really heated out here. We're going to be able to stay at home and live the same life you're living anymore. Alright? These devils getting ready to come with it. Things are about to change for the worse. Alright? There you go. It's lucky. They're going to tell you it's for the better, but it's going to change for the worse, man. A lot of death and destruction is getting ready to take place here in America. And if you ain't with the Lord, then you're going to be a part of it. Alright? That's it for this transit. In transit, I truly hope it was edifying to you, occupant Akwath, who listen to truth sincerity. Till next time, Nasrallah, I say, Call Halayim La, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, SHAMAIWAN, Shalom.